Ang napag-aralan po natin nung last Sabbath day ay ikapito at ikawalong utos. Ang ngayon naman po ay ang natitirang dalawang utos, ikasyam at 10. Pero bago yan, isa-isahin natin muli pero hindi ko na iisahin ngayon para hindi tayo gahuli ng oras, bago ko na lang magtapos ng ating ano. So tayo po ngayon ay sa ikasyam at ikasampung utos. Sabi po ng Exodus 20 verse 16. Send po natin yung ating si Elder JP. Exodus 20 verse 16. Sabi dito, "You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor." Ito po yung ikasyam na utos, Exodus 20 verse 16. Ikasyam na utos na sinulat mismo ng Diyos sa kanyang finger sa stone of two tablets. Sabi po, balikan natin yung Exodus 31 verse 18 para malaman natin na ang batas na 'to, ang utos na 'to ay hindi gawa ng tao kundi ang Diyos mismo. Sabi po, when the Lord finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, He gave him the two tablets of the covenant law, the tablets of stone inscribed by the finger of God. To bear false witness basically means to lie falsely about another person at nangyayari ito sa buong mundo. Minsan maka-encounter tayo na sasabihin, totoo kaya ang tinuturo natin dito sa assembly? Ganun pa man, ang mag-isip sa atin assembly ng di maganda ay accountable sila sa Diyos. Di po ganun kandali mag-bear as a false witness. Mahirap pong magkunwari. But rather, we must speak the truth. Pinag-iisipan maigi if mag-bear ba tayo na as a false witness. Di rin tayo pwede mag-jump into conclusion na napakadaling gawin kasi yun ang bulong ng hangin, gossip ika nga. Kaya we need to speak carefully and not so quick to talk. We need to be honest and need to be humble. Marahil kaya binigyan tayo ng Diyos ng dalawang tainga at isang bibig. Kasi gusto ng Diyos, makinig muna tayo maigi bago magsalita. Merong isang commentator na nagsabi na, in this age of universal deceit daw, telling the truth is a revolutionary act because it is not easy to tell the truth, lalo na ang kasinungalingan ay kaliwat kanan. Pero ang Diyos tumatawag o nagbigay ng utos para sa mga Israelita at sa atin to rise above the lies, slander, and falsehood around us, to carefully, humbly, honestly speak the truth. Kaya nga po, ulitin natin, Exodus 20 verse 16, "You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor." False means in dictionary, not genuine, intentionally untrue, intended or tending to mislead. Hebrew word for false is sheker. 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 No? Untrue, misleading. Ang utos na Exodus 20 verse 16, "You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor." Kahit ang tagal na ito na isulat, itong batas na ito still stands sa ating henerasyon dahil ang truth ay for all generation. It is impossible for God to lie. So truth-telling is a part of character and a true nature of God. For God can't lie. Lying is out of step with God's character. Ayaw talaga ito ng Diyos ma-pervert ang justice dahil sa pagbigay ng false testimony na violate ang truth and it also hurts people. To bear false witness is to falsely accuse and slander a fellow man in the faith or not with the same faith, injuring another person's reputation is a serious crime. Deuteronomy 19 verse 18, the The judge must make a thorough investigation, and if the witness proves to be a liar, giving false testimony against a fellow Israelite, verse 19, then do to the false witness as that witness intended to do to the other party. You must purge the evil from among you. Kung anong hinusga natin sa iba at napatunayang itong mali, yung parusa na dapat sa inaakusa mo ay siya ring gagamitin against sa iyo. Kaya nga, purge the evil among you, among us. Ang sabi ng Bible, Deuteronomy 19 verse 15, one witness is not enough to convict anyone accused of any crime or offense they may have committed. A matter must be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses. Kahit na sa tingin ay tila tama yung accusation, need pa rin ng another witness to accuse the person. Kaya careful with our words about our testimony with our fellow men. Let us speak with love and patience. Kasi yung iba, kaya umaalis sa faith nila kasi na falsely accused na agad ng kung ano-ano. Kaya tinatabangan na bumalik sa faith nila. Pero ang iba naman ay tila totoo rin na umayaw na sila kasi di naman nila love si God genuinely. Kaya itatak sa isip na do not bear false witness or gossip. We must trust God's timing for everyone. Maari na tama ang nasa isip mo against fellow men. Pero if without love, dahil galit ka lang, mamamali tayo sa ating pag-accuse. Tayo ay magmumukhang maingay na batingaw lamang na walang basihan ang pag-iingay. Exodus 23 verse 1, do not spread false reports. Do not help a guilty person by being a malicious witness. Verse 2, do not follow the crowd in doing wrong. When you give testimony in a lawsuit, do not pervert justice by siding with the crowd. Verse 3, do not show favoritism to a poor person in a lawsuit. Lying is not a mouth issue. It is a heart issue. The only cure for lying is a change of heart. Psalm 119 verse 10, I seek you with all my heart. Do not let me stray from your commands. Verse 34, give me understanding so that I may keep your law and obey it with all my heart. Kapag pinag-uusapan yung ikasyam na utos na Exodus 20 verse 16, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor, no? Ito ay very specific at tinutukoy dito ay pagbibigay ng false testimony. Ang ikasyam na commandment, pag binabanggit, ano agad ang nasa isip natin? Do not lie, slander, accusing of somebody of doing wrong, telling lies, false testimony. Ang classic example ay mababasa natin sa 1 Kings 21 verse 1. Sometime later, there was an incident involving a vineyard belonging to Naboth the Jezreelite. The vineyard was in Jezreel, close to the palace of Ahab, king of Samaria. Verse 2, Ahab said to Naboth, let me have your vineyard to use for a vegetable garden, since it is close to my palace. In exchange, I will give you a better vineyard, or if you prepare, I will pay you whatever it is worth. Verse 3, but Naboth replied, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors. Verse 4, so Ahab went home sullen and angry because Naboth the Jezreelite had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my ancestors. He lay on his bed sulking and refused to eat. Parang bata, ano po? Verse 5, his wife Jezebel came in and asked him, why are you so sullen? Why won't you eat? Verse 6, he answered her, because I said to Naboth the Jezreelite, sell me your vineyard, or if you prepare, I will give you another vineyard in its place. But he said, I will not give you my vineyard. Pero ano po ba talaga ang sinabi ni Naboth kay King Ahab? Balikan po natin yung 1 Kings 21 verse 3. But Naboth replied, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors. Bakit kaya ito ang sinabi ni Naboth? Leviticus 25 verse 23. The land must not be sold permanently because the land is mine, and you reside in my land as foreigners and strangers. Kasi po, ito ang bilin ng Diyos sa saling lahi ni Naboth at ipinapatupad lang niya. Psalm 135 verse 12. And he gave their land as an inheritance to his people Israel. Ngunit iniba ni King Ahab ang sinabi niya sa misis niya, I will not give you my vineyard. Pero ang sinabi ni Naboth kay King Ahab ay, ulitin po natin, kasi false testimony ang ating pinag-uusapan. 1 Kings 21 verse 3, but Naboth replied, the Lord forbid that I should give you the inheritance of my ancestors. Di sinabi ni King Ahab ang talagang reason kaya ayaw ipagbili ni Naboth ang kanyang vineyard dahil ayaw ito ng Diyos. At ito nga ay mana niya sa mga ancestors pa niya. Dahil parehong wicked itong king and queen na ito ang ginawa ni wicked queen na si Jezebel para mapunta kay King Ahab ang vineyard ni Naboth. Sabi po sa 1 Kings 21 verse 7, Jezebel, his wife, said, is this how you act as king over Israel? Get up and eat. Cheer up. I'll get you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Verse 8, so she wrote letters in Ahab's name, placed his seal on them, and sent them to the elders and nobles who live in Naboth's city with him. Verse 9, in those letters she wrote, proclaim a day of fasting and sit Naboth in a prominent place among the people. Verse 10, but sit two scoundrels opposite him and have them bring charges that he has cursed both God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death. Noon pa man, meron ng korap na tao. Kaya wag magtaka bakit ito kasama sa 10 utos ng Diyos. Pagpapatuloy, verse 11, so the elders and nobles who live in Naboth's city did as Jezebel directed in the letters she had written to them. Verse 12, they proclaimed a fast and seated Naboth in a prominent place among the people. Spiritual pa ang dating. Ito na yung false testimony. Pagpapatuloy, verse 13, then two scoundrels came and sat opposite him and brought charges against Naboth before the people, saying, Naboth has cursed both God and the king. So they took him outside the city and stoned him to death. Verse 14, then they sent word to Jezebel, Naboth has been stoned to death. Verse 15, as soon as Jezebel heard that Naboth had been stoned to death, she said to Ahab, get up and take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. And he refused to sell you. He is no longer alive, but dead. Verse 16, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, he got up and went down to take possession of Naboth's vineyard. Pero titiyakin ng Diyos sa atin na ang lumabag sa kanyang batas patungkol dito ay may paglalagyan. Sabi po sa 1 Kings 21 verse 23, and also concerning Jezebel, the Lord says, dogs will devour Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. At ito naman ang parusa ng Diyos kay King Ahab. Sa verse 21, panik tayo ng kaunti, he says, I'm going to bring disaster on you. I will wipe out your descendants and cut off from Ahab every last male in Israel, slave or free. Mabigat po ang kanyang parusa. Ayaw ng Diyos na katigan natin ang false testimony. Dapat ay Proverbs 23:23, buy the truth and do not sell it. wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. Psalm 33 verse 4, for the word of the Lord is right and true. He is faithful in all He does. Ulitin po natin yung ikasyam na utos. Exodus 20 verse 16, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Itong utos na ito ay very specific about false testimony against your neighbor. Itong word na testimony ay naririnig natin sa court proceedings. Dito malalaman if guilty or not guilty. Kaya isinama ito sa 10 utos ng Diyos. Itong 9 commandments na ito ay unacceptable na tayo ay mapulaan na nag-false testimony sa iba. Kasi perjury ito sa standard ng Diyos about truth. Sinisira natin ang ating pagkatao sa pagbigay ng lying testimony at pati pangalan ng Diyos, tangay-tangay natin. Bakit siya critical sa ating pagkatao? Bakit ito sinama ng Diyos sa 10 utos? Ang isang concept ay dapat merong fair trial dahil ito ay nakarelates o nakadikit sa truth and God is truth. Kaya ang mga lingkod din niya ay expected to tell the truth. Proverbs 19:28, a corrupt witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked gulps down evil. Di mabibigyan ng justice without telling the truth. So truth is the basic requirements of every proceedings. Si God ang nagbigay ng laws, kaya tiyak ang batas niya ay maganda at paayon para sa mga nilikha niya. Psalm 119 verse 160, all your words are true, all your righteous laws are eternal. Ang maganda sa 9 commandments ay very particular ang Diyos dito. Very specific kung titignan natin. Ito ay maliwanag na tinutukoy dito ay maging fair tayo sa pagbibigay ng truth sa ating testimony sa ating kapwa. It protects our relationship with God because by seeking and bearing true witness to the truth, it shows that we have a genuine relationship with our God, for God is truth. Psalm 145 verse 18, the Lord is near to all who call on Him, to all who call on Him in truth, and who speaks the truth, and who speaks truth from the heart abides with God. Sabi po ng Psalm 15 verse 1, Lord, who may dwell in your sacred tent, who may live on your holy mountain. Verse 2, the one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart. At dahil si God ang nagbigay ng mga laws, tiyak na ito ay pawang mabubuti at magaganda. God's law is perfect. Psalm 19 verse 7, the law of the Lord is perfect, refreshing the soul. The statutes of the Lord are trustworthy, making wise the simple. God made the laws for our benefit. The law, the judge, and the witness, nagiging critical ito pag yung witnesses ay nagbigay ng false testimony. At ang testimony ay big part of the evidence. So ang ikasyam na commandments ay specifically rendering a fair and just verdict. At dapat mayroong truth for a right judgment because without it, Proverbs 25 verse 18, like a club or a sword or a sharp arrow is one who gives false testimony against a neighbor. But instead, Proverbs 23:23, buy the truth and do not sell it, wisdom, instruction, and insight as well. What the truth impacts? The truth impacts nations. If justice don't prevail sa isang nation, anong mangyayari sa nation na yon? Magulo, di ba? So meron critical connection ang justice sa righteousness and truth. Di ito pwede maghiwalay dahil ang mga Israelita, inalis sila sa land of Egypt na merong terrible system. Inalipin nga sila for 430 years. Kaya tinawag at inalis sila sa lugar na yon upang maging different kind of nation under God's law. Ang Israel ay tinawag upang maging God's nation, living by God's law and living by His ways. Ang mga Israelites supposed to be a representative of God's law which is just in all decisions. At dapat ganun din tayong mga lingkod niya sa ngayon. So, papaano natin ito maipapatupad sa mga buhay natin? By upholding God's law, by not giving a false testimony, o tayo mismo ay dapat makitaan ng tamang pamumuhay na hindi mapaya si God sa mga buhay natin. Pagpangit ang ating pag-uugali na dinidisplay sa ating kapwa, tayo mismo yung false testimony. Tama po ba? Dapat ay Psalm 119, verse 112, my heart is set on keeping your decrees to the very end. Psalm 15, verse 2, the one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart. Ang ikasyam na utos ay nag-requires na we should maintain and promote truthfulness sa ating mga dealings sa bawat isa at dapat ma-maintain din ang ating magandang reputasyon sa kapwa at sa ating sarili. We must come forward and stand up for the truth, speaking the truth and nothing but the truth from our hearts, sincerely, freely, and clearly, na walang ginagamit na masasakit na salita sa kapwa, lalo't kung ito ay makakabastos sa mga pinag-uutos ng Diyos at magbibigay ng malaking kahihiyan sa ating Diyos sa lahat ng pagkakataon. Ulitin po natin ang ikasyam na utos, Exodus 20 verse 16, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Zechariah 8 verses 16 to 17, these are the things you are to do. Speak the truth to each other. Render true and sound judgment in your courts. Verse 17, do not plot evil against each other, and do not love to swear falsely. I hate all this, declares the Lord. Proverbs 4:13, hold on to instruction, do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. Verse 14, do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evildoers. Verse 15, avoid it, do not travel on it, turn from it, and go on your way. Psalm 119, verse 18, open my eyes that I may see wonderful things in your law. Ulitin natin, ikasyam na utos, Exodus 20 verse 16, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Ikasampo at panghuling utos, Exodus 20 verse 17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Sa kabuuan ng utos na 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the ones prohibit acts of evil behavior. Ika-6, murder. Ika-7, adultery. Ika-8, stealing. Ika-9, false testimony. Merong isang commandment na nagpo-prohibits the thing that leads to murder, adultery, stealing, at false testimony, walang iba kundi ang ika-10 utos. Ulitin po natin Exodus 20 verse 17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Ang sum total nito ay don't covet anything that doesn't belong to you. Covet is not a familiar word sa ating lahat. Kaya need ito aralin. Example, nakakita ka na magandang damit. Di mo sasabihin, syempre na, I covet that clothes. So itong word na ito ay di natural sa atin kung iisipin maigi. An important word siya sa pang-araw-araw na gamit na salita. Pero dapat nating itong aralin o malaman about covet or coveting patungkol sa utos na ito. Covet means in dictionary to wish for earnestly, to desire what belongs to another. Hebrew word ay kamad. Means to delight in, to greatly desire, to lust after. Out of the Ten Commandments, ang pinakamahirap daw i-observe ay yung prohibition na you shall not covet. Yung pag-observe ng Sabbath day ay madali na magawa yan at madaming nag-observe niyan all over the world. Yung pag-murder, napipigilan din sa ibang parte ng mundo. Pero yung you shall not covet, parang madaming nahihirapan dito i-observe. Kasi minsan, may napapasin tayo sa ating kapwa. Example lang mang ito nakapapasok pa lang nito sa work, bakit ang bilis ng promotion niya? At ang dami niya agad na bibiling bagong gamit. Pero ako, ang bagal ng promotion ko. Tapos di ko mabili yung nabibili niya. Napapatanong ka sa isip mo. Pero kung mapapansin natin, ang utos ng ikasampu ay ang haba. Ulitin po natin Exodus 20 verse 17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Ang talata sa Exodus 20:17 ay ang daming napapaloob na bilin. Pero yung you shall not steal ay 4 na salita lamang. Pero yung utos na you shall not covet, kahaba-haba at inisa-isa ito ng Diyos. Una, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. Pangalawa, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife. Pangatlo, or his male or female servant. Ikaapat, his ox or donkey. Ikalima, tinukoy na rito lahat-lahat ng meron ang kapitbahay mo. Bakit kaya di na lang sinabi ng Diyos na don't desire anything your neighbor has? Na di na lang sana banggitin pati yung ox and the donkey. Kasi po, tinutulungan tayo ng bilin o utos ng Diyos para mas maunawaan natin yung bilin niya patungkol dito sa ikasampo. Kasi may nakikita tayong maganda sa kapitbahay natin na i-compare agad natin ang ating mga sarili sa kanila na mabuti pa sila, hay buhay, or sana all. So doon nag-umpisa yung pagkubet o pagkainggit natin. Pero wag lang natin tignan kung anong meron sila, bagkus tignan natin yung mga patuloy na ginagawa ng Diyos sa buhay natin na di natin nakikita sa kanila. Madami nga silang pera, pero sira naman ang kanilang pamilya. Dami nga nilang pera, pero hinahunting naman ng government. Tama po ba? Para maunawaan ang ikasampung utos na ito, ay dapat malaman natin na ito ay may unique significance. Dapat maunawaan natin ito lang sa 10 utos na to na nag-legislate or nagmandato about thoughts. At ang utos magmula sa commandment number 1 to 9 ay nagmandato ng behavior. Bakit kaya ang ikasampung utos na ito ay isinama ng Diyos? Ang ikasampung utos po ay nag-prohibit ng thought. Dahil yung coveting so often leads to evil at na-violate nito ang mga proceedings na utos sa 6, 7, 8, and 9. Bakit kaya ang mga tao ay ginagawa ang mga ito? Kasi nga po maraming kadahilanan. Ang mga tao ay mahilig mag-covet. Kaya maraming nagnanakaw o kinukuha nila yung mga property ng mga victims nila. Kaya isa din doon yung mga reason kaya nagkakaroon ng murder at ang iba ay nakocommit yung adultery because they want something that doesn't belong to them. At pagdating sa perjury or bearing false witness, ito yung ginagawa nila to cover up sa mga crimes na kanilang nagawa. Tama po ba? Para mas maunawaan natin, ano ba talaga yung coveting? To covet is much more than to want. Na Hebrew word na kamad means to want to the point of seeking or take away and own something that belongs to another person. Take note, yung word na seeking to own and belongs to another person. Seeking to own, di ibig sabihin nag-envy ka na o nag-lust ka na sa iyong neighbor's spouse. Ang mag-appreciate ng ibang bagay na meron ang kapwa mo ay di po ito masama. Kasi minsan ang mga ito ay nakaka-inspire na magsikap ka to work harder para ma-attain mo rin yung meron ang neighbor mo. Nagkakaproblema lang if you want and gain and seek possession ng pag-aari ng neighbor mo. Yung mga gamit nila, gusto mo na kunin at pati asawa niya, ninanasa mo na rin na hindi mo pag-aari. Doon papasok yung evil thoughts. Kaya nilagay ang coveting sa 10 utos, these 10 basic rules of life, because we simply cannot allow ourselves to covet what belongs to our neighbor. Whatever belongs to another person must be regarded or treated as holy. For we cannot seek or own anything that belongs to another because only evil can covet. To covet is not always a sin. Why? People covet to eat food every day and consider it good. Genesis 2:9, the Lord God made all kinds of trees grow out of the ground, trees that were pleasing to the eye and good for food. In the middle of the garden were the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Motives to covet, hindi sila kontento na kung anong meron na sila kasi they have ungrateful heart. They are not content na kung anong pinagkaloob sa kanila ng Diyos. Kagaya ni na Adam and Eve, binigyan na sila ng garden na maraming pwede nila kainin. Maliban ang sa isang puno, naghangad pa rin sila yung di pwede, ninanais pa rin nila matikman. Genesis 3:5, for God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. Verse 6, when the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Kasi ang unang fall ng mankind is coveting to be like God. Coveting is taking something that is not meant to be yours. Coveting is the last commandment na binigay ng Diyos kay Moses. Pero pag ito ay na-break natin, halos lahat ay na-break na natin. Si King David po ay nag-covet for another married woman. At ultimately, yung strong desire niya sa babae na yon ay nakomit ni King David ang adultery. 2 Samuel 11 verse 2, one evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful. Verse 3, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Verse 4, then David sent messenger to get her. She came to him and he slept with her. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly cleanness. Then she went back home. Coveting your neighbor things, ang mga lingkod ng Diyos ay di dapat makitaan ng mga ganitong pag-iisip sa kanyang kapwa. dahil nami-misuse natin ang pangalan ng Diyos. Dahil alam ng marami, tayo po ay sumasamba sa Diyos ng Israel. Huwag po tayong mag-covet dahil mapapahiya ang Diyos sa atin pag nagkataon. Ang covet po ay equivalent nito ay envy. Means it is a capital sin that includes sadness at the sight of another's goods and the immoderate desire to acquire them for oneself. Ito ang aktual na pakiramdam. Pag nakakakita ka ng masaya sa iba, nakikisaya ka pero deep in your heart, naiinggit ka na at sana sa isip mo, ikaw yun dapat. Ni-covet mo sa isip mo na di para sa iyo. Coveting means that you're never happy with what you have. It is the insatiable attempt to take what isn't yours. Insatiable means incapable of being satisfied. Ang solution, contentment is the key to overcoming coveting. Like every antidote for sin, this requires a heart change. A content person recognizes in what they have is a gift from God. Amen po ba? Deuteronomy 5:29. Oh, that their hearts would be inclined to fear me and keep all my commands always, so that it might go well with them and their children forever. Kaya dapat ay Deuteronomy 6:5. Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your strength. Deuteronomy 5:21. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. You shall not set your desire on your neighbor's house or land, his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Covet ay hinantulad din sa desires. Sin starts in the heart. It's about the evil desires inside you, not just what comes out. Covet or covetousness is an inordinate or disorderly desire for something or someone without regard for the rights and feelings of others. It is a sin rooted in discontentment. In reality, di tayo kontento sa buhay natin na meron tayo. Di tayo kontento sa talent na meron tayo. Sa mga resources na meron tayo. Sa itsura o appearance na meron tayo. Sa buhay na binigay ni God sa atin. Nagko-covet tayo dahil sa pag-akala natin na entitled tayo sa mga bagay na di binigay sa atin. And we think we deserve it too. Hello! Di ba minsan napag-aralan na natin yung sayings na the grass is greener at the other side of the fence? Kasi itong sayings na ito ay kilalang-kilala sa pakiramdam natin, tayo ay nasa ibang side of the fence. Being dissatisfied leads us to dream about, with and hope for a different life than what God has given us. Kasi coveting is wanting what we don't have. Pag di tayo kontento na kung anong meron tayo, di natin talaga alam paano tayo makontento. So, paano natin malalaman na if nagko-covet na tayo, pag madalas mong nasasabi na, I wish sa isip mo at bibig mo, I wish I have a better car, I wish I have a better house, I wish I have a better job, I wish I have a better body, so on and so forth. Our lives become consumed by desires. What we wish we had. Alam ng Diyos na pag nag-covet tayo o nainggit na meron ng iba, that's the first step towards breaking the other commandment. Ang gusto ng Diyos, ang puso natin ay nakafocus sa Kanya. Pero di ibig sabihin selfish ang Diyos. God wants our hearts so as to give us rest from the constant desire for what we don't have. When our hearts are in God and not in false hopes and desires, we have peace with God and with our neighbors. So nangungusap ang Diyos dito sa mga commandments niya sa atin at sa ating mga selfish desires, false hopes, and wishes. Nais ng Diyos, malaman natin na meron tayong one true God na nilagay tayo sa mundo na ito, providing for us all that we need on a daily basis, at ito ang tiyak na tiyak at totoo. Job 36 verse 11, if they obey and serve Him, they will spend the rest of their days in prosperity and their years in contentment. Ikasampung utos, ulitin natin, Exodus 20 verse 17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Ulitin po natin ang buong 10 utos. Exodus 20 verse 2, I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Unang utos, verse 3, you shall have no other God before me. Verse 4, you shall not make for yourself an image in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth beneath or in the waters below. Verse 7, ikatatlong utos, you shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold anyone guiltless who misuses his name. Ikaapat na utos, verse 8, remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. Ikalimang utos, verse 12, honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God is giving you. Ika-anim na utos, verse 13, you shall not murder. Ikapitong utos, verse 14, you shall not commit adultery. Ikawalo, verse 15, you shall not steal. Ikasyam, verse 16, you shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. Panghuli, ikasampo, verse 17, you shall not covet your neighbor's house, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor. Deuteronomy 7 verse 9, know therefore that the Lord your God is God. He is the faithful God, keeping his covenant of love to 1,000 generations of those who love him and keep his commandments. Deuteronomy 30 verse 16, for I command you today to love the Lord your God, to walk in obedience to him, and to keep his commands, decrees, and laws. Then you will live and increase, and the Lord your God will bless you in the land you are entering to possess. Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13, now all has been heard. Here is the conclusion of the matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the duty of all mankind. Maraming salamat po at yan ang kabuuan ng ating pag-aaral patungkol sa 10 utos. At nawa meron po tayong natutunan sa ating pag-aaral patungkol sa 10 utos ng ating Diyos. Nawa by heart and mind, ito po ay naisapuso po ng bawat kapanalig. Maganda at pawang pabor po para sa kanyang mga lingkod ang batas ng Diyos. Sikapin po natin masunod at maipatupad ang 10 utos nito sa ating mga buhay at patuloy po nating mahalin at dakilain ang ating napakabuting Diyos. Maraming salamat po at inanyahan ko po si Elder Darius na awitan ang ating napakadakilang Diyos.
Sa bawat araw ng aking buhay, ang nais ko'y makasunod ng tunay. Sa iyo, Diyos, na laging nagbabantay. Pagpapala mo'y walang kapantay. Pag-utos mo'y liwanag sa aking daan, nagbibigay tanglaw sa kadiliman. Tagumpay ang laging nararanasan, dahil salita mo'y laging maasahan. Salamat po Panginoon, sa pagsunod may biyaya. Salamat po, Panginoon, tunay kang mapagpala. Sa bawat araw ng aking buhay, ang nais ko'y makasunod ng tunay. Sa'yo, Diyos na laging nagbabantay, pagpapala mo'y walang kapantay. Ang utos mo'y liwanag sa'king daan, nagbibigay tanglaw sa kadiliman. Tagumpay ang laging nararanasan, dahil salita mo'y laging maaasahan. Salamat po, Panginoon, sa pagsunod may biyaya. Salamat po, Panginoon, tunay kang mapagpala. Panginoon, purihin ka, sa buhay ko'y masunod ka. Panginoon, purihin ka, sa'yo lamang ang pagsamba. Salamat po, Panginoon, sa pagsunod may biyaya. Salamat po, Panginoon, tunay kang mapagpala. Panginoon, purihin ka, sa buhay ko'y masunod ka.